Hello everyone and welcome at another episode of Site Spotlight. My name is Marieke van der Raks and I'm here with Taco Verdonschot. Taco, how are you doing today?
I'm very good today, thank you.
Are you looking forward to our next website?
Yeah, we have a first again, so that's quite exciting. Let's dive right in.
Let's look at the homepage first. This is a personal website and we're looking at the personal website of Alan Fuller. So let's check out the homepage, because just by landing on that homepage, it already shows a lot of personality, which I think is really important in personal websites. So right at the top, the headline, I think, speaks volumes. I build tools that keep small businesses running. And I like this. It says more than any corporate sounding pitch ever could. You instantly know that this is a solo creator and not like a faceless team, and that's powerful. So it screams authenticity. Clients know exactly who they're dealing with. That's Alain. And sometimes people that are solo entrepreneurs, they write "we" on their website and they kind of act like they're a team. And I would always advise not to do that. It is perfectly fine to work solo. It even has a lot of advantages to your clients. They know, they're sure that when they work with you, that they will get you. In Alain's case, they'll get an expert in his field. So scroll down a little and you'll see a video intro that's clear, it's confident, it has social proofs. But if you scroll a little bit more down, you'll see 80,000 businesses use my product.
That's a lot.
Whoa, that's huge, right?
Yeah.
So that made me pause and wonder, is that real? And I think it is real, because it probably will include users of his free plugins. But still, even backing that number up with a quick footnote, or for instance, use my plugins, that would add clarity, because right now it might feel a bit inflated to people, like it's too much. Yeah. And that could downgrade the effectiveness of the social proof.
And I mean, it should be easy enough, if it's indeed verifiable in some way, to just link out to those products.
Yeah, right. Because apart from that, Alan doesn't fall back into slogans. He adds credibility with the line, "From mainframes to modern web to AI, I've solved business problems through every tech revolution." So he shows that he claims experience. He doesn't need to list out a full resume. So I really like that. I think this is a good example of what a personal website should look like. And if you click on either of these colorful blocks we saw, then you'll be guided toward other websites. Okay. So this page is somewhat a hub towards all the websites of Alan's products and to his personal blog. So I like the personal, sincere voice. I like the clear positioning. I would clarify the 80K figure, and I would probably add some testimonials, get some real quotes from users. That would humanize and validate those big numbers. And he also has something about upcoming projects. He could explain that more. With a timeline or a brief phrase like "coming in 2026, that could set expectations. I think that's all the way at the bottom.
Yep,
yes,
found it.
That could be a little bit more clearer. But that's it. That's what I wanted to say about the homepage.
So let's get a little bit technical. I've scrolled back to the homepage, to the top, and here we see Alan's image. And like Marieke said, it adds a lot of value, because it makes clear who the person behind the company is. But on all other pages, let me switch to the About page, for example, this image isn't used. But it is loaded. So the image is loaded on every single page of the site, even if it's not used in the content in the page itself. And that's a shame, because that means it takes up loading time and bandwidth that you don't really need to spend loading that image. Also, if we look closely at the image, it's a JPEG, which is an older image format. And there's more modern formats available nowadays, like WebP or AVIF. and those are optimized for the web. So they might even load faster and have a smaller size, but then it should still be loaded only on the pages where you need the image. And there's another thing, if we go back to the home page. So this image is just too small to fit some of the formats. So for example, for Google Discovery, it needs to be slightly larger. Off the top of my head, 1200 pixels by 675. And I think it's like 1200 by 600. So it's just off, just too small to be used in some of those areas where it would really help discovery. Next up, let's look at the fonts. We're all fond of nice fonts, aren't we? I mean, look at the page. It's an easy to read, clear font.
I do think it's just a little bit too small, Taco. But that could be because of my age, and maybe I need glasses, but I would prefer the letters to be slightly bigger.
All right. I think I can help you with that. Give me a second. So if we do it like this, does that make it easier for you?
For me, it does.
Fantastic.
Yeah, there are a lot of people like me that don't necessarily want glasses yet.
That's definitely true. Definitely true. So the thing is, the font itself is quite nice, but there's a catch, because on every page it loads quite a few font files. And let me see if I can show you. You can see, well, the last one is a browser add-on, so you can ignore that one. But the other ones are all the same fonts in different weights, where it means that the font is loaded several times on every page, and that's a waste of time and energy. And actually, there recently was a blog post by a guy named Jono Elderson.
Like him.
Yeah, he's a good guy. We know him very well. And let me quickly show you. He wrote a lengthy article on "You're loading fonts wrong." Definitely worth checking this out. So jonoelderson.com/conjecture/you're loading fonts wrong. It is an in-depth article on how to do this better and what the problems are with font loading this way. In the case of Alan Fuller's website, it's not just 6 fonts. It's also loaded in an old format, so TTF instead of the WOFF2 format, which is definitely something that would help optimize. The last thing I want to look at from a technical perspective is the robots.txt on this website. Robots.txt is a file that will help search engine crawlers or other crawlers understand where they are allowed to go on your site and how they should behave. It's a directive. It's not a strict order, so bots can ignore it, but most well-known bots will definitely adhere to it. So one of the things you see here, and that's something that we don't see very often in robots.txt, is crawl delay. And crawl delay is an unofficial directive, so there's even less bots stick to it, but it basically says there should be a little break between crawling moments on this page or on this site. So in this case, where it says crawl delay is 1, it means there should be 1 second in between. Now, because it's an unofficial directive, it means that that could either be interpreted as there should be 1 second between the end of the previous crawl and the start of the next one, or there should be 1 second between the start of the first crawl and the start of the second one. This is completely up to the crawler, up to the robot visiting your site, how they interpret this, but at least it gives a little slowdown to some of them. Interestingly enough, Bing, Yahoo, and Yandex do respect it. Google doesn't.
So there will be less scrolling if you put a crawl delay in it. So it's good for the
Yes.
environment, right? That's one of the reasons why you could do that.
Absolutely, yes. If you know that your website isn't changing all the time, this just puts a delay, so it puts less stress on your server, and indeed it will have a positive environmental impact.
Nice.
Interestingly enough, what we see in the robots.txt is that there's AI crawlers that are explicitly allowed, but because they don't have the crawl delay directive, it means that is overwritten for them, because the way it works in robots.txt is that you have to explicitly state all the directives for each user agent. And the first one is the generic with the asterisk. So that goes for all bots visiting, but then the ones below are exceptions. So in this case, it means that ChatGPT bot, ChatGPT user, CC bot, Anthropic AI, Claude Web, Bing bot, and Google Extended do not have this crawl delay.
Oh.
And I'm not sure if that's what he meant to do here. If so, it's done well.
Yeah.
But if that wasn't the intention, then it's good to know that if you want all of those to have the crawl delay as well, it should be repeated for every single one.
So next up, let's take a look at Alan's content. And for that, I took the About page, because that was the page that has the most text on it. And I am going to look at the text. So that's the best part. There's also a blog. Alan also has a blog, but that's on a different website, and it was very, very technical. So it's hard for me to say something about that because it's a lot of code. But content-wise, if I look at this page, I liked it because it tells a story. It feels very personal, and it gives you a sense of who Alan is. And that's the main goal of an About page, especially if you have a personal blog, of a personal website. You want to see the person behind the business. You want to make that person feel real. And I think it works. But visually, the page is a little underwhelming. It's a little boring. It's not inviting to read, although the story is quite nice. I think adding a good photo, one good photo, a different one than the one on the homepage, that would make it feel warmer, more engaging, and also more trustworthy. Because now it feels a bit flat. It's almost like reading a Word document on a web page. Another issue is readability. The sentences are often too long, and that makes it also heavy to read, especially on the screen, especially with a small font. That's really hard for the old people. So breaking things up into shorter sentences, shorter paragraphs, that would make the flow a bit better. A good About page, I think, should almost feel like having a conversation. I use an SEO, I don't know if that's important for this website, or usability perspective. You could use headings, maybe break the stories into two sections, like who am I, what do I do, why does it matter? That helps with scanning through the text. Including internal links could point people towards product pages or towards a contact form or anything. That could be something you could add as well. So overall, I think the content is authentic, but the presentation and the structure could use some polish. With a photo, shorter sentences, clear headings, this page would be really effective, I think. That's it.
That's very nice. And it's really good to see that he put some effort into showing his personality on this page, at least in text.
In text he did, but now you really have to read it, and it's not that inviting, I think. But I think these are pretty easy tweaks, because if your content is bad, it's hard to improve that. So the content is good. Now make it a little bit more readable, add a nice picture, maybe add some headings, and you're good to go.
All right, so for the accessibility section, we're going back to the homepage, and we're going to look at, can we easily skip to the content? So I'm going to use is put my mouse away and just navigate the site using my keyboard. So using the tab key I will be able to go to the site, and you can see that it nicely highlights Alan Fuller.
Yes.
There's no skip to content link. So I immediately dive into the page, into the menu. So that's something you could probably add to help your keyboard users, your screen reader users, to skip to the content faster. Fortunately, there's not a huge menu that I have to go through to get to the actual content. So it's not that bad, but it's a nice win, a quick win that you can add to your website. Now, if we skip through the site, you'll see that we have a little video here. And after the video, I have to skip through the entire YouTube thingy. There's the nice colored areas that you referred to earlier that link out to different websites.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's not quite what I expected here, because there's no indication that this link is going to open in a new tab or even open a new website. So what you could do here is add a little indicator to learn more, to help your users understand they're navigating to a new page. Okay. The thing I was worried about is that on the link list, you would also see learn more, learn more, learn more. But because of the way that these sections are built, technically it's one big link that has a lot of content in it. The link description is actually the whole text in there, which is maybe not ideal, but at least you don't have a list of learn more links.
Right.
So there might be a better way to do this, but it's not 100% bad. But definitely add that indication that this link is opening in a new site. Now I'm going to quickly grab my mouse again because the last thing that I looked at was contrast. Because the site is quite straightforward in its use of color. It's a light background with darker text. All the contrasts are very well readable, except for this little orange bit. Because the contrast between the orange and the light blue grayish background makes it really hard for people with visual impairment or color blindness to see that little line. It's been repeated several places in the page, so it's not information that's lost, but using a slightly darker orange to make sure that the contrast ratio is at least 4.5 to 1 instead of the 275 to 1 that it's currently. Would be a quick win as well to make that last little bit also accessible on this page.
Right, maybe it even stands out a little bit more. If it's accessible for everyone, and it's also more in your face for people that have normal vision.
Absolutely, yeah. Yes. Yeah, so there's definitely some gain there. Yeah. Overall, the site absolutely is easy to navigate. You can tap through all the links. There's no strange things on the page. So, well done.
We're pretty positive about this one, right?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, overall, I think it's a really well done site. It's straightforward. It has a clear story. It tells us something about Alan. Well done, and thanks for being a good sport and letting us review your site.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll see some more personal websites. I would love to see some more.
Absolutely. So Taylor Swift, if you're watching this, you could be next.
We would love to do Taylor Swift websites.
All right. Thank you all so much, and see you next time at the next Site Spotlight.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. We know your time is valuable, and we're glad you spent some of it with us. If you got value from today's video, go ahead and like, leave a comment and hit subscribe. and the bell so you don't miss the next tip. And if you're ready to keep going, check out another video right here. We've got more ways to help you level up your website without the overwhelm.